The younger generation, when people talk about the Me Too movement, when people talk about cancel culture, these are different kind of terms for saying we want to have some changes. We want to have a bit more autonomy in this kind of stuff, especially in a large corporation. You have some people who are younger and they think it's ridiculous that they have to actually go to the office and work 9 to 5 when they could do more work at home between midnight and 5 o'clock in the morning, right? And that has also been a change that people have seen because of the pandemic. And I think that's a positive change for a lot of people. But who's in charge? Well, people who are generations older than that, and they still stuck in thinking, no, you got to come to the office. We need the bricks and mortar. We have this wonderful office, this beautiful campus. You got to work from 9 to 5 because I want to make sure you're working from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Not the way it really has to be. And psychology is getting a big help now. We're getting big help by a younger generation who's being able to look at some of these things and saying, dude, we don't have to do it this way. We can be more efficient doing something in a different way. And now people have to listen.
Yeah, there's a real sort of clash of cultures in that respect over here. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the British businessman Sir Alan Sugar.
No, don't know him.
He's like this sort of British. He hosted the British version of The Apprentice. So he's sort of supposedly this big successful millionaire businessman. He started Amstrad, was a big company in computer company in the 80s, and he's gone on record a few times in various newspapers saying that he expects his entire workforce to come back to the office. And the guys of an older generation, I think he's technically a baby boomer, which is fine, but there is this attitude from him and from not from everyone, like in his walk of life, but from that type of person, that type of older businessman who, as you've alluded to just now, expects bums to be on seats. I want to see that you're in your partition thing, and I want in your little cubicle, and you've got to be here from 8:30 till 6 p.m. And you're quite right. The younger generation are like, this is completely unproductive. Like, why am I wasting an hour of my life to commute in? I'm doing nothing in that time except staring at my phone. Then I'm stuck in the office all day. I could be doing this stuff from home. And also the younger generation have this sort of understanding of, I read an article a couple of years ago about multi-hyphenates, which is a term that's wrapped around the younger generation in the sense that they don't consider themselves necessarily like a psychologist or a journalist or one thing. They absolutely consider themselves to be, right, I'm Mandy or I'm John, and on Tuesdays I'm going to work on my blog, and on Wednesdays I'm going to try and build up my YouTube channel, and then Thursdays and Fridays I'm going to train to be a nurse. And so they see themselves as these sort of multifaceted, potentially multi-professional entities, and that I think is a complete shift from the generations that have come before.
I agree. The older generation had a term for that. The older generation, and I'm talking not the baby boomers, but so-called greatest generation, baby boomers' parents, a jack of all trades and a master of none. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but you never really did anything. Well, I think you're quite right when you say the younger generation is indicating that you can do quite a lot of things, and you can do quite a lot of things well. And the jack of all trades, master of none, hundreds of years ago, our forebears had a term for that too. It was called the Renaissance man. There were a lot of things you could learn, a lot of things you could do. People during the Renaissance, quite often, they were not known for doing one thing. They were known for doing several things really quite well. Right? So it's entirely possible to do multitasking. There are some people who, everyone claims they can do multitasking. Not everyone can do it well. But you can certainly do things very well on different days. Monday you do this, Tuesday on this, Thursday on that. No question about that. I think it's a very great direction to go into. I think it's really going to help develop any kind of society for the better. But there's going to be a lot of resistance from the older generation who is resistant to change.